6 o'clock. Is everybody ready? I call this meeting to order. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
I so move.
One second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let's say the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Have public comment? There's public comment. Please do so. Not, JD's not here. He's in a meeting in Des Moines. We were sent the engineer update. Is there anything anybody wants to needs announced off that?
The John Deere shipped from the factory
Yep.
and they're having a pre-delivery inspection. Tuesday,
We had pictures of that bridge. Did you guys all see the
the
picture of the
picture of the
bridge?
bridge, yeah.
On 190th.
190th, look good.
Think anything else? There's nothing else on that update. We'll go to the next item on the agenda, which is the AIA contract documents with Samuels Group. We put that on there. I have the contract here. What is our next phase with that? Are we still waiting?
To my understanding, and I haven't talked to anybody today, my understanding is we need to review this agreement since we voted at the previous meeting for the architect. And then this would be the contract that we would sign with them. So it was my understanding that they just sent us this draft copy to review.
Okay.
Carl's
here. I was gonna ask you about that. I was reading over this. Have you had a chance to look at this?
I didn't see anything unusual. Tony caught a typo that I read right through, thing involved county-owned property.
Yeah, I think the only thing I noticed, there is a typo on 1.1.2 on the second page. It just says to be constructed on county-owned property. Should be owned property.
Yeah.
And then this is a question probably for Melissa, but there's penalties in there, 7% interest penalties for late payment.
I saw that.
And that's 30 days from receipt of invoice. I don't know how that financing works, if that 30 days is going to be an issue getting them paid. My only concern is there's, I believe, 3 milestones, and if we're talking $1 million project, 3 milestones, roughly 300,000, and 7% interest is a $21,000 hit. So
Once we sell the bonds, we've got the money.
that's what I
So
mean.
that shouldn't be an
As far as
issue.
requesting the money and getting the check issued, and that was the
Yeah.
only concern I had,
Time.
is a 30-day timeline feasible?
That shouldn't be an
Right.
issue.
I just didn't know logistics.
Just don't want to miss it by a day with the way it takes.
Right,
No,
that's
I'm-
a $21,000 mistake is all.
I'm sure she's gonna be very cognizant and very, we'll take care of it. Never
Other
had,
than that,
never
that's
had
the
a
only
problem
thing
before,
that I
so,
had, so.
yeah.
I had one other item, 4.2.5. It talks about if services covered by the agreement have not been completed within blank months of the agreement through no fault of the architect, extension of the services beyond that time shall be compensated as additional services. It was left blank. There's no number there for the number of months.
Hmm.
And those are things we can email back.
Right, think about that. Yeah, I'll highlight that.
Can you just do that, Carl?
Sure.
He'd be the obvious one to do that.
Yeah, Carl,
Yeah.
get in touch with them and.
And then we have a meeting next Wednesday at 9:30, a kickoff meeting.
Yes.
And I don't exactly know what that entails, other than a meeting here and then a site visit afterwards, so. And I have reached out to Gary with the city.
You can
He
be
thinks
there.
he's gonna be available
Yeah,
to be there, so, just utility wise, he'll have a better idea of.
right. Oh, yeah, he should be there.
And
Okay.
just to let you guys know, I won't be available that day. We have a jury trial starting that day, so I'll be downstairs.
Okay, we will review this and see when we get our draft all done, then we voted to do it, but then once it's completed, we'll agree to the contract and sign it. Does it need to be signed by all three of us, or?
I think I think the owner is just the board, so I assume the
Yeah.
chairperson only, but.
Okay,
Chair and then
so when we get this done, we can do that. Okay. Any other questions on that? Well, then I guess we'll march on. We'll figure out a couple of those spots and get her done. Okay, the next up on the agenda is the Page County Conservation to use $6,750 of reserve funds for some concrete work at Raft Park. John's here.
Good evening. Yeah, we're just, we're requesting $6,750 out of our reserve fund. We're putting basically an ADA compliant parking pad in front of our bathroom at RAP. We spent a lot of time making that bathroom ADA compliant, but we realized people still need to go across 20 feet of uneven gravel.
Okay, and you have these funds, this from the farm money, or where's this fund?
Some of it's from the farm money, and then all our donations and then grant funding we get.
Yeah,
We actually got money from the RAP Foundation for this project a couple years ago.
okay. We need a motion on that.
I'll make a
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that they, conservation can use $6,750 of reserve funds for the concrete work at RAP.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion on that? I think we understand. Can you have us vote, Kristen, please? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
okay,
Thank you.
got that done. Thanks, John. Okay. Next up on the agenda, we have resolution 62, the sale of general obligation solid waste disposal bonds. It's for the landfill. I have the resolution here. This is to sell bonds. They're making a new sell to landfill.
I'll move that we approve resolution 62-2023, setting the date of sale for the GO bonds for the solid waste disposal project, and authorizing the use of a preliminary official statement in connection therewith.
Oh, that sounds official.
I'll second
A
that.
second, okay. This bond, just in the resolution here, says not to exceed 1.6 million, it says here. Okay, well, any other discussion on that? Resolution 62, then we can vote on that.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
okay, that's that done. Now, next up on the agenda is the wind ordinance draft, and we've got that sent off to be published. What was the dates? Did we figure all that out? When it's gonna be published? Did we ever see that?
What?
The draft ordinance to be published in the newspaper?
Did she say it was going to the paper the 18th?
She said, no, she sent it to the paper and it would be hopefully published next Wednesday,
Next Wednesday,
the 20th.
20th? Okay.
Yes. Carl, she said something about getting it down to 17 pages,
I compressed it down to 14.
14 pages, okay.
That's about all I could do. There were some blank spaces I
Yeah.
couldn't get rid of.
Okay, and we talked about this, let's make sure I understand, like in the minutes, it says public hearing again, but we don't have to have we're gonna do meetings where we have it on the agenda 3 times after it's public. Right, so I don't know if we need to, because we talked about that, I think, last week, and in the minutes it says public hearing. Just say meetings, is that the
Yeah.
right way to say, we'll have 3
Public meetings?
public meetings, or,
Just say first, second, and third reading.
okay,
But the publication means you don't have to actually orally read it into the record.
it's just here it is, that we want to talk about it, we can talk about it,
The
so,
publication provides notice to everyone about what
Okay.
the contents of our.
okay, well, let's make sure so we'll have 3 meetings so the 20th is on.
What's
Next
Wednesday?
Thursday, we'll have a meeting, so we can do it on the
21st.
21st. 28th,
You think that's too soon?
I don't know.
I got a call this week.
It has been on the
Agenda.
website as well, because I
Oh, yeah,
got
we've had on
a
the.
call too. I might have got a call from the same guy.
We've had on the
Georgia.
website for
Georgia,
maybe a
yeah.
month.
I've talked to him numerous times.
Oh, okay.
So yes.
I shouldn't feel bad if I didn't get back to him right away.
no,
I just, he left a voicemail. I was at work,
I
but
think Carl got one too, but
yeah, I think
yeah,
I was gonna talk to him
Well,
anyway.
about it, but
it has been on the website.
I told
but-
him it was on the website and he
Yeah.
could look at it there.
Yeah,
yeah.
for at least a
So,
couple,
yes.
3
It
weeks.
sounded like from his voicemail that he had read some of it and had just had some questions
He
about
had
it.
he had some questions, yes.
And we've
So-
also talked about this every meeting for, I don't know, months
Yeah.
now, had it on the agenda, so we've been pretty open to talking about it and hearing everybody's concerns, so, but we'll have 3 readings, it's been published in the newspaper, it's on the website. So I guess we can decide we want to start one of the 3 meetings to the 21st.
The one thing that might be nice is since if we did it the 21st, 28th, and then the second would be a day meeting so that all the meetings would be covered in the readings. So it wouldn't be like we had them all at night and nobody could come during the day or vice
Yeah, we
versa.
did.
So. Yeah, I mean,
I think-
I would say do the 21st and.
Since we're not waiving any meetings, I think we start on the 21st, we have 3 to do, I think that's.
I guess what I started to say was one of his complaints was that we were doing it in December. He felt like it was a busy time. People didn't have time to look at it and because they were busy Christmas shopping and doing other things. And so that was just,
Yeah.
I'm just repeating.
Right,
So yes,
Okay, well,
it is a busy time, but.
all right, so I guess we'll march on that, it'll be in the newspaper next week. I kind of think with having 3 separate meetings, the 21st is okay to start talking about it, there'll be 3 of them. If we're good with that, we'll
Yes,
aim that way in the agenda. Agendas, okay. So is there anything else on the wind draft?
It's not real obvious how to find it.
do you want to come up to the
Oh.
microphone, Jane?
Yeah, go ahead and say that.
yeah, on the website.
We could make it, it's in the, with all the minutes and everything. And
Jane Stimson, it doesn't say anything about it being in a draft or that kind of thing. So it's hard to find on the website.
Yeah.
If somebody could make it
Boulder, we can do that.
Notice somebody was
more
asking. how to get that to it.
explanatory.
Okay,
I think it's right there on the very front page with the agendas, where you see the
can we
agendas,
make it like its
the
own
minutes, make it
separate,
bold or something.
well, like its own separate file to
Yeah.
the right and
They
just
can do that
say,
tomorrow.
yeah, and see if we can get that to where,
Yeah, where they post the agenda, there's where everybody looks at the agendas every week, but we'll make it bold and by
Yeah.
itself.
by
Okay.
itself.
We can ask them to do that.
Okay,
Okay, anything else?
It's got it right there. Ordinance 2019-2, general obligation or general regulation of development. I
Yeah.
suppose that,
It's right on the front page,
Right
right with
there.
the agendas, but we
Yeah.
can maybe make it one of those blue buttons up there or something.
what'd you say, Jane?
It's kind of mumbo jumbo wording.
Maybe it's a draft, it would help them, maybe.
Might put a dash and say draft wind ordinance,
wind order, yeah.
if they
something to-
can do that.
It is our main bulletin spot, though, it's at least in the main.
Yeah, it's right there.
Front spot. Okay, so I can try to call them tomorrow or email them or something and tell them that. Well, if we've got that done, we'll look at the 21st, starting to talk about that first time. Next up's board communication, if we're done with that. The hog confinement information we got sent the other day about
Master matrix.
master matrix. and
That's
all that.
done in January.
Okay, I saw that and I was just gonna
It's an
see.
annual thing and it's
I
usually,
remember
with-
doing that in the agenda, but I don't know if this was good. JD sent an email too. I was like, I thought we did. that
yeah,
the
it's
first meeting.
usually done with January 2nd meeting.
We passed it with everything. Okay, or look at it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
That was a question I had.
Yep.
Okay,
I thought the meeting today was very interesting. We had district supervisors meeting. I think I counted and I think there were 14 counties represented today.
That's pretty good.
So it was really, really very good. Lots of discussion on House File 7818,
Yep, 718.
where we're limited to 3%. So
Yep.
Monday, I did go to, the libraries held an informational meeting in Shenandoah and had the legislators there. And it was the meeting started at 6 and, I think they'll probably present the same thing when they come,
Will they become to Clarendon? Or
no,
they're-
they switch around.
Oh, they do, okay.
Yeah, so this was
Is that-
actually the 3 libraries together, the 4 libraries.
Was that something that I missed that they sent
Could
out
be, I
to
don't
us?
know.
Or how did you, I
Um,
guess? 'Cause
yeah.
I was like, I missed that. And
Yeah, it
I
was-
saw it on KMA and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I should have went to that.
Yeah, it was Monday
I
at
didn't-
6 o'clock at the Shenandoah Library. Last year it was at the Clarinda Library.
Okay.
They switch around, and so, it was the Page County Libraries update, and it's Clarinda, Essex, Shenandoah, and Coyne.
Yep.
And it was a fantastic, presentation. It was very well attended. Lots of people were there, and it's just amazing to me. The libraries didn't used to work together, but these guys really work together, and they have some really interesting programs, for the people of the county, and not only interesting programs, but learning things, and they do so many things, so many different things. As they say, it's not about just books anymore. But along with updating on what the libraries are doing and the different programs they're doing, the 3 legislators were there, Senator Shipley, Representative Moore, and Representative Wood were all there. So after the presentation by the libraries, then they were open to, they each started out with a little bit of saying, you know, some things for themselves, and then they opened it up to the public. And so there were a lot of questions about the school vouchers, I call it a property tax freeze, but the 3% on House File 718, it's like a property tax freeze we had years ago. But just a lot of good questions. So, that was really good Monday night. And then this afternoon, when I was there Monday night, then they had an open house at the Essex Library this afternoon, so I ran over to that after I got back from Preston. So anyway. I haven't been home since 8:30 this morning, except to let the dog out for a minute. So,
Well, I have a Zion meeting on Monday. I think coming up, so.
Yep.
Then hopefully attend the jail meeting on Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Yeah, now
yeah.
tomorrow's the bond meeting. I saw that email, so. And we need agendas for that, I guess, to go.
We didn't
Are they
get an
doing it?
agenda for
Are
that,
they
so I
doing it
plan on
here?
going to that. Todd said he was gonna go, and we discussed it, and I'm gonna go to that tomorrow. So,
Yeah, so for some reason, I thought that we had talked about that you could go if you're not voting on anything, or if you're not doing, if it's informational. Am I just imagining
if
that
it's
that was?
social, kind of like today was,
Or just,
you know, we didn't have
but
anything today.
I guess what I was thinking, it was like an update,
Yeah,
that if
Yeah.
they were just updating the board, it
No.
didn't need to have an agenda, but was I just imagining that? I don't,
I don't know what,
'Cause-
I don't know what they're gonna do. I know Maggie Spears.
Are they
from-
just
or
going
Maggie-
through what the
Maggie
bonds are gonna
Spear
be?
Financial will be talking about the bonding, and I'm not exactly sure what information they'll need from the board, but they'll, basically what she said was probably just one person, one supervisor there, and then we'll update the other 2, the whole
Does-
board later.
does it make more sense for the Jacob to go versus because he was in the jail committee?
He can. I was gonna go because I'm familiar with it, so.
I'm just,
I'm fine with doing it, and
but
what, does the chair sign it? Is that who signs the bonds? Is the
No,
chair?
you don't do anything this meeting.
Just listening.
This is just, yeah,
Where's it gonna be at?
here.
Right here. Okay, well,
do you-
from here on, let's just talk about the future, just so it's a possibility as we have these meetings. I'm fine if since we started this jail thing a couple of years ago or longer ago now, sat through a lot of these. If we can all be there to listen, I
Yeah,
think we.
well, you
can-
didn't say anything about going to it,
Bump
so
an
that's why I
agenda
said
out.
I would go.
no.
Yeah, I figured we'd talk about it in here,
So-
but, We can put an agenda out, a simple agenda. We could even do it way ahead of time.
We do need an agenda for next Wednesday.
Next
Yeah, we'll
Wednesday.
get
Yes,
that.
we need an
Just so-
agenda for Wednesday.
And they can be simple and just show what's going on.
Actually, you can put the 2 days together. You could put in the agenda for the 20th and the 21st
Right.
on one. It doesn't, you don't have to have two separate agendas.
Yeah,
I used to do the agenda for the week.
Yeah, I
So,
see
I mean, you had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, whatever, and if there were meetings those days, you just
Oh,
put
no.
those
I
in there.
see other counties that do that
Yeah,
still.
yeah.
Let's lay out the week
Right,
and then it's possible.
right.
I mean,
And then that way you can also put your other meetings on there too, if you want to, just so people will know that you're attending other meetings.
yeah, I've seen that done. That would be simple and have the whole week,
Right.
like, especially the ones we know about.
Right,
We know way out where they're gonna be, so.
yeah,
But we need to kind of get our dates, whatever dates we know, and we'll get that figured out to make some agendas way in advance. We'll get that done, so.
so you're gonna go to the meeting tomorrow?
I can sure do it. I can do that, so. We'll go tomorrow and see what's Spear, I visited with them up at Isaac, that's Spear Financial before. We can do that. Okay. We have any claims?
Nope.
Hey, no bills today. And minutes, the next step on the agenda. Paper's out here. That's it.
yeah, the only changes I made on the copies I handed out to everybody was just a couple of just the finer conversation, discussion things that were not relevant to everything else, but other than that, you know, we didn't have a lot of discussion last week, so it was obviously the minutes looked really fairly good. The only other thing I would like us to try to not do is it always says that we're handing out rewritten minutes. And I have never rewritten any minutes. I don't rewrite them. They're amended. I have stuff crossed through, but I've never rewritten. And I think when it's listed as rewritten, it makes the story of that we sat up all night and rewrote everything in our own language. And that is not the case.
No.
So, I mean, I would just appreciate that, you know, we can say, you know, Todd had amended minutes that he handed out or whatever. I mean, I guess we want to say that, but the facts are that we're just voting on the amended minutes as given to, given to each one of us as the board. And those minutes are up. I mean, anything that I would say, anything that we have crossed through is up for discussion.
Mhm.
I mean, I think we should be able to discuss it.
Okay.
Because, you know, again, I say that, you know, there may be things that Jacob thinks should be in there that shouldn't, or that he wants in there, or he wants something that he said in there, or Judy wants something she said in there. I mean, I'm up for discussion on all that. So all this is just a, you know, it's basically a draft of saying, you know, here's what my thoughts are on it. It doesn't have to be the law, but, you know, we're trying to get that fine tuned to meet, the Iowa Public Information Guidelines. And so,
Yep, they're not rewritten, so, okay. Well, on that, I've got the ones here that, the only thing I saw on there was where it says a public hearing on paragraph, the third paragraph on the top. I think last week when we talked about that, it was public meetings or reading or whatever we want to call it. Because I don't, if we're not having a hearing, Carl, what's the right word?
First, second, third reading.
Readings, okay. So that's what we talked about last week. I asked that same question, I think, so. So stated then a public reading can be held, so maybe public reading would be the proper word there. Instead of public hearing, just change the word to reading.
yeah,
The paragraph that starts with Carl Songson. You see that? Reading. We talked, I think I asked that same question last week. So anyway, other than that, all the other,
Except we're not actually reading it. We're not reading the whole thing.
we've published it.
First reading, second reading, third
and Third reading.
Publishing takes care of the reading. We just have it here. Here it is, copies of it. Talk about it all you want.
publishing provides the notice.
The notice has been done. Okay. We can read it too for fun. We can read it through. So, I'm all right with that. Okay. So. Favorites here.
I'd make a motion that we pass the amended minutes per Iowa Public Information Guidelines.
I'll second that. Our discussion, we'll vote.
Yes.
No,
Yes. Okay. That done, over to the easy one, 13. We're all done, need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Got a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Judy seconds,
She said.
we're adjourned, thanks for coming.